Okay, at this point I have to integrate this. So you know that e to u times e to v, for example, is e to u plus v. So e to 6.5, so this is e to negative x multiplied by e to 6.5. That's a constant and goes outside. From 0 to 7, I should have not written this so close. So is e to negative x dx minus 7 over the square root of e. I'm continuing here. Okay, so now you either use a substitution or, so here it is one option, y equals negative x, so dy equals negative dx, because we need a negative in front twice, which is 1. So this is negative e to 6.5. The integral from e to y dy, but careful now, 0 plugged in here is still 0. But when I plug in 7 in here, I get negative 7. Ugly numbers, but it is what it is. So we continue. Negative e to 6.5 and e to y from 0 to negative 7. Oops, oops. Minus 7 over the square root of e. Okay, so then let's see what this is. Negative e to 6.5. When I plug in negative 7, I get 1 over e to the 7th. When I plug in 0, I get 1. Okay. So negative e to 6.5 minus 7, negative 0.5, and then plus e to 6.5. Of course, I forgot this again. So minus 7 over the square root of e. There is nothing I can do here. I just have to approximate it. Are they telling us how many decimal digits or any of that?
No, I don't think so.
So if that's the case, then maybe. Go ahead.
Just to round to the nearest cent.
Ah, okay, good. So I don't have to worry about simplifying it any further then. Okay, so negative e, that's not that, negative e raised to negative, I like parentheses, negative 0.5, and then plus e to 6.5, and then minus 7. I can write it now as e to negative 0.5. E to negative 0.5. This looks a little iffy to me. It's possible, but it looks a little iffy. So I think that this is okay, e to negative 0.5. I think that's okay. This e to 6.5 is outside, so we use a substitution. And that was dy, and e to dy, so 0, yes. With negative 7, yes. Okay, everything looks okay. So when I plug in negative 7, I get this. When I plug in 0, I get this. The numbers appear to be okay. I don't know. That's negative 0.5. This is plus e to 6.5 minus 7 over the square root of e. I don't see any error. Does it accept the solution? As 660.29. And the producer surplus is the other one, 7 divided by the square root of e minus the integral from 0 to 7 from, where is the other function? So it's e to x minus 7.5 dx. Hersh, did they accept the answer?
Yeah, it did.
Oh, wonderful then. Okay, so then we'll continue. So this is 7 over the square root of e minus. I will take e to negative 7.5 outside because it's a constant. So this is the integral from 0 to 7 from the e to the x dx, which is much nicer. I don't have to use the substitution. 7 over the square root of e minus e to negative 7.5 e to the x from 0 to 7. Okay, this is nicer. E to negative 7.5, when I plug in 7, it's e to the 7. When I plug in 0, it's 1. And let's see what we get with this. Maybe I can simplify it further. 7 over the square root of e. When I multiply here, I get e to negative 0.5. And when I multiply here, I get positive e to negative 7.5. 7 divided by the square root of e. No, I didn't mean that. 7 divided by the square root. Oh, let me just change it now. 7 multiplied by e to negative 0.5. And then minus, it's the same thing. I should have written 6, but that's okay. So minus e raised to, again, negative 0.5. And then plus e and raised to negative 7.5. Okay, what I got for this one is what is it? So this is approximately 3.64. I'm going to look at my numbers one more time. E to negative, but if it accepts it, then I don't have to look. Negative e to negative 7.5, that's okay. E to the 7th minus 1.
It went through it.
It went, okay, then I don't have to check my numbers.
Yeah.
I always like to check my numbers. A weird situation, but possible, I guess. Good, very good question. Anything else? That's your chance to check anything, everything, and ask about anything so you can move on and finish up the work. So my question is this okay? All the steps are okay here?
Yeah, they're good.
Okay. Okay, next question. Anything else? Anyone? Next question, anything? Is everything okay? I still haven't gotten an answer about the canvas, so.
So can you do one from 6.3?
Yes, yes, of course.
Math.
Yes.
So it's saying f of x of y equals 20x x and y minus x to the cube minus 10y squared.
Good. What are we doing?
It says to find the relative maximum and minimum value.
Okay, so we want the relative max or min. You know, in this case, we have to conduct a d-test. But first we have to determine all those first order and second order partial derivatives. So let's find fx. So everything is fixed, just x is the variable. So 20y minus 3x squared. This is fixed, goes away. Now fxx, I differentiate this with respect to x again, only x, so 6x. Then I can differentiate fx with respect to y. Fx with respect to y is 20. Fy, 20x. This is fixed, minus 20y. Fyy, it's negative 20. Fyx has to be the same. Fy now differentiate with respect to x must be exactly the same thing. Now we have to create a system of fx equals 0 and fy equals 0 and solve it. Fx, 20y minus 3x squared equals 0. Fy, 20x minus 20y equals 0. Any questions so far? Any questions? Let me know if you have anything about the partial derivatives or anything else. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay. I got that part.
Okay, perfect. So now we're trying to solve the system. Of course, I will divide both sides by 20 here, and I have that x equals y. And I replace, let's say, which one is more convenient. I'm going to replace y by x. So I go back in the first equation. I have 20x minus 3x squared equals 0. So I will multiply both sides by -1. 3x squared minus 20x equals 0. And I factor out x, and I get 3x minus 20 equals 0. So there are basically two possibilities here. One possibility is x equals 0 and y equals 0. And the other possibility appears to be 20 divided by 3 and y equals 20 divided by 3. So there are two ordered pairs, 0, 0, and 20 over 3, comma 20 over 3. I don't know the problem. I have no idea about the solution, but let me just make sure that we copy the problem correctly, just to make sure. Is it 20xy minus x cubed minus 10y squared, Hersh? Is this okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
20xy minus x cubed minus 10y squared.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that I have all my calculations correctly. So fx, yes, this is 20y, and this is the negative 3x squared, and this is 0. Fxx, okay, so fxx is negative 6x. Fxy is 20. Fy, yes, 20x, indeed, and minus 20y, indeed. Fyy, negative 20. Fyx, 20, correct. So 20y minus 3x squared equals 0, and 20x minus 20y equals 0. I divided x minus y equals 0, so x equals y, and I replaced it here. 20x. Yes, I multiply both sides by -1 and I factor out x. Yep, so these are the two ordered pairs that we have to work with. So now, remember we have to conduct the d-test, and conducting a d-test means that we have to calculate d in both situations, for 0, 0 and for 20/3, 20/3. So for 0, 0, I have to calculate fxx at 0, 0 times fyy at 0, 0 minus fxy at 0, 0 and everything squared. And let's see what we get. fxx at 0, 0 is 0. fyy at 0, 0 is -20 minus fxy is 20 squared. So this is 0 and this is -400. So since d is less than 0, test is not applicable. D-test not applicable. Okay, now for 20/3, 20/3. So the d-test, fx, yes, go ahead.
So for the first one, why wouldn't it not be applicable, like the t-test?
So there are 4 possibilities. D to be positive, D to be 0, and D to be negative. The test is not applicable when D is negative.
Okay.
It doesn't work. It's not applicable. It doesn't say anything. We cannot apply it. This is a saddle point. And this one could be a max or a min. Of course, a relative max or a relative min. Only in this situation.
Okay.
So fxx at 20/3, 20/3 minus, I'm sorry, times fyy at 20/3, 20/3 and minus fxx squared fxy at 20/3, 20/3. Okay, where are those? fxx at 20/3 is -6 times 20/3. fyy, it's still -20, I cannot change that, minus. xy or yx, I cannot change that, is still 20 squared. Let's see what we get. I will simplify, and I get -40 times -20 and -400. And this is +800 and -400, which is a positive number. Okay, so it's 400, positive number. And now I have to check fxx. So what was fxx? fxx was this number, -40. So fxx is -40, which is less than 0. In that situation, this is a relative max. Which one? 20/3, 20/3 is a relative max. It would have been a relative min if fxx were less than 0, a negative number. A positive number. If it's a positive number, it's a relative min. If it's a negative number, it's a relative max. Very good problem. It had little twists and turns. Very good. Other questions? Is this okay? Hersh, do you feel better about this?
Yeah.
Good. Just want to make sure that I put my pages in order.